Nobody expected one secret recording to send shockwaves through the legal world, threatening to bring down one of the toughest prosecutors in the country. Pam Bondi had seen dirty political attacks before, smears, coordinated hit jobs, and blatant fabrications. But this was something else entirely. This wasn't just an attack on her reputation. This was an attempt to destroy her career. The leaked recordings spread like wildfire, blasted across every major news network, plastered all over social media, cut into viral sound bites, played over and over again, taken out of context just enough to paint her as corrupt. Pam Bondi, a legal force who had prosecuted some of the most dangerous criminals and most corrupt politicians in the country, now found herself in the crosshairs of the very system she had fought to clean up. And she knew exactly why. Someone was trying to shut her up. Someone was trying to make her back down. Someone was about to regret ever thinking that was possible. Pam sat in the back of a black SUV, fingers gripping her phone, scrolling through the headlines. Secret recording exposes Pam Bondi. Damning evidence or political hit job. Leaked audio. Bondi under fire over controversial comments. Will Pam Bondi survive this? She clicked on a video. The audio played. A voice, her voice, rang through the speakers. And if he doesn't back off, I will make sure he never works in this town again. Pam tightened her grip on the phone. It sounded bad. It sounded like a threat, and that's exactly what they wanted people to think. But Pam knew the truth. That wasn't the full recording. She knew exactly what was missing. The part where she was warning about a corrupt lobbyist who had been bribing government officials to cover up illegal activities. The part where she was trying to protect a whistleblower from being silenced. And now, they had turned her into the villain instead. The SUV pulled up to her office. The moment Pam stepped out, she saw reporters lined up outside the building, cameras flashing, microphones thrust toward her, journalists shouting questions over one another. Ms. Bondi, do you deny making these threats? Is it true you abused your power to silence your opponents? Will you be resigning? Pam ignored them all. She wasn't playing their game, not today. Inside, her office was in chaos, phones ringing nonstop, staff members whispering in frantic huddles, papers scattered across the conference table. Her press secretary, Lisa Harrington, rushed toward her, tablet in hand. This is bad, Lisa said, barely catching her breath. Every network is covering it. The spin is brutal. They're saying you were caught threatening to destroy someone's career if they didn't back off from an investigation. Pam listened again to the recording. Her jaw tightened. It was infuriating how easy it was to manipulate public perception. Clip out a few key sentences, cut the right words together, strip away the context, and suddenly a crime fighter looks like a criminal. Pam set the tablet down. Where's the full recording? She asked, her voice calm but sharp. Lisa hesitated. Nowhere. This is all they released. Pam exhaled through her nose. Classic. They had clipped the recording, made it look like a power-hungry abuse of authority, and fed it to the press. She looked across the room. Who leaked this? Lisa shook her head. Anonymous source. Pam scoffed. Of course it was. She turned to her chief of staff. Where was this recorded? We're not sure yet. It could have been from any of your closed-door meetings in the last month. Pam's jaw tensed. Find out, she said. Lisa hesitated. Pam, if we go after the leaker too aggressively, they'll spin it as retaliation. Pam cut her off. I don't care what they spin. Someone set this up. Someone wants me out, and I want to know who. The door burst open and one of her aides rushed in. We have a problem. Senator Montague just went on live TV calling for an investigation into you. Pam slowly turned to face the screen. There he was, Senator Liam Montague, a man with a grudge and a motive. Pam watched as he sat across from a smug news anchor, shaking his head in mock disappointment. This is deeply troubling, Montague said. Pam Bondi has long been accused of unethical behavior, and now we have the proof. If the Justice Department doesn't open an investigation into her, then we have to ask, who is she protecting? Pam closed her eyes for a brief second, controlling her anger. Now it all made sense. Montague, it was him. The leak, the timing, the selective editing. It wasn't random. This was a hit job, a political ambush designed to take her out before she could expose something bigger. Pam turned to Lisa. "Get me the full recording, now." Lisa swallowed. "We don't have it." Pam grabbed her phone. "Then I'll find it myself." The press was already outside the building, waiting like vultures. Pam stepped into the hallway, her heels clicking against the marble floor, her mind racing. They thought they had her cornered. They thought she'd panic. They thought she'd step down, apologize, beg for mercy. But they didn't know Pam Bondi. She wasn't just going to survive this. She was going to turn this scandal around and expose every single person behind it. And when she did, they'd regret ever coming after her. Pam Bondi never lost a fight, and she wasn't about to start now. The moment she stepped into her office, she turned to Lisa. "We need to find out who recorded that conversation, who leaked it, and most importantly, who ordered it." Lisa nodded, already flipping through her phone. "I have a few contacts in cybersecurity. We can trace where the audio was first posted, but if it's someone high level..." Pam cut her off. "I don't care who they are. If they think I'm just going to sit back and let them take me down, they picked the wrong woman." Her legal team sat in tense silence, waiting for orders. Some of them looked nervous. Pam knew why. Most politicians, when faced with a scandal like this, would play defense. They would apologize, go into hiding, let the storm pass. But Pam Bondi wasn't most politicians. She was going to flip the script. Pam turned to her head investigator, James Reynolds, a former FBI agent. "Start digging. I want to know where that recording was taken, who had access to the room, and whether there are any raw versions of the audio floating around." James nodded. "I'll have a full report in 24 hours. Pam shook her head. "I want something by tonight." She knew how fast these things moved. If she didn't get ahead of it, the press would bury her in speculation, and by the time the truth came out, it wouldn't matter. Lisa walked back toward her, holding up her phone. "Pam, you need to see this." She clicked on a new headline. "Unedited audio surfaces. Was Pam Bondi set up?" Pam froze for a second. "They found it?" Lisa hit play, and the full conversation started to play. This time it was clear what had been cut out. Pam's full sentence had been, "If he keeps threatening our whistleblower, I will make sure he never works in this town again." The real story wasn't about Pam abusing her power. It was about her trying to protect someone from a corrupt political operative. Pam's blood boiled. Someone had set her up, knowing exactly how to make it look like she was the villain, and now she had the proof. Lisa was still reading through the article. "It looks like a cybersecurity group found the unedited audio and traced it back to the original file. It was recorded in a private Senate committee meeting, one where only a handful of people had access." Pam gritted her teeth. She already knew who was behind it. Senator Liam Montague, the man who had just gone on national television and called for an investigation into her. The man who had just spent the last 48 hours pretending to be outraged, knowing full well that the recording was manipulated. Pam clenched her fists. He thought he could take her out before she got too close to something he didn't want uncovered. Big mistake. She turned to Lisa. "Schedule a press conference, now." Lisa hesitated. "Are you sure that's..." Pam's voice was like steel. "I am not letting them control this narrative for another second." Lisa nodded and got to work. Pam took a deep breath, running through everything she wanted to say. She knew this was going to get ugly. She knew they weren't going to stop fighting back. But now, she was on the offensive. And Pam Bondi never lost when she was on the offensive. The press was already waiting outside. Pam walked up to the podium, cameras flashing, reporters shouting over each other. She raised a hand, silencing them. She didn't need to shout to make an impact. "The last 48 hours have been filled with lies," she said, voice calm but powerful. "A manipulated recording was leaked, designed to smear my reputation and mislead the American people." She held up her phone. "This," she said, "is the unedited version of that audio, and it proves that everything you were told was a lie." The room went dead silent. She continued, "I was not threatening a political rival. I was not abusing my power. I was protecting a whistleblower, someone who was being harassed and silenced by the very people who now pretend to be outraged." She turned her gaze directly to one of the cameras. "The person behind this leak is Senator Liam Montague. He knew this recording was manipulated. He knew the truth. And yet, he went on national television and called for an investigation into me, knowing he was lying to the American people. Gas filled the press pool. Pam didn't stop. This wasn't just an attack on me, she said. It was an attack on our justice system. If they can do this to me, a public official who has spent her entire career upholding the law, what do you think they can do to you? Reporters were already scrambling, typing, whispering, knowing that this story had just taken a massive turn. Pam's voice hardened. This is not over. I am calling for a full investigation into the leak, into Senator Montague, and into every single person who played a role in this deception. She leaned forward slightly, and I promise you, they will be held accountable. Pam walked off the stage without taking a single question. She didn't need to. By the time she got back to her office, her phone was blowing up. Messages, calls, news alerts. Lisa walked in, eyes wide. Pam! Montague just went silent. His office is refusing to comment. Pam smirked. Of course he was. She had just done the one thing he never expected. She had fought back and won. And now, Montague was the one with everything to lose. Pam sat at her desk, watching the headlines shift in real time. She had turned their attack into a boomerang, and the people who tried to ruin her, they were about to go down instead. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that inspire and challenge us to grow. What would you have done if you were in her shoes? Let us know in the comments below.